Fresh Art International presents Art Talk, conversations about creativity in the 21st century. I'm Kathy Bird, Fresh Art producer, and today I'm speaking with Kate Hers, a Korean-born contemporary artist based in Berlin. Kate and her collaborator recently raised funds through Kickstarter for an interactive art project that will run from November 19th to 25th, 2011, at an alternative space in Berlin. Kate will be talking about Kimtschi, the art scene in Berlin, and one way to raise money for your creative projects. This is a recorded Skype conversation, so you'll hear skips in the audio.
Well, I guess I moved permanently in 2009. At that time, I didn't know actually that I was going to be staying permanently. I had received DAAD, which is a Deutsche Akademische Austauschdienst, which is in English, I think, the German Academic Exchange Service scholarship. So it was for 10 months. And originally, I had been doing a lot of work in the realm of German Orientalism. So I was very interested in going to Germany and doing research there directly. And so when I applied for the grant, after I got my MFA, I was accepted and knew I would be there for at least 10 months. And then 10 months turned into, now it's been a little over 2 years. It's like every other major city, the art world, it's pretty small. You end up seeing the same people at all of the openings, at all of the lectures. But it's big enough that you can sort of navigate in different types of circles. So I really like that aspect of it.
The gallery where you're showing the project, are they English speaking?
They are English speaking. Okay. That was actually a choice that we made because of the strategy that we're trying to take in terms of getting people involved. We realized that we needed an international space. I think because of the fact that it's also a bar. I mean, it has very many different types of uses. And it's an old German bar that UK artists began. And then it has a extra showing space in the back that they do all sorts of different projects. And they were very interested in doing interactive projects with the guests that would be coming, maybe not just to see the art exhibition, but to, share with each other and to have a drink. So that ended up being a really, I would say, very important factor of us choosing to do the project there.
What's the name of the gallery?
It's called Das Gift, which in English it means the poison.
I asked Kate to describe kimchi and how it's made.
It's kind of like this is the way I try to explain it to Germans that have never had it before.
See,
it's like a spicy sauerkraut. It's obviously not the same thing, but it does undergo the same type of fermentation process. Mm-hmm. So it's an easy way, to describe it to someone who's maybe never had it before. Right. It's used, it's a pickling process. Kimchi can be made out of lots of different types of vegetables. The one that we're focusing on is napa cabbage, which is the sort of, I would say, the quintessential Korean side dish. It's eaten at every single meal, even for breakfast. The different types of ingredients that go into it are, for example, garlic and ginger. Some people might use some fish sauce in it. There's the red pepper flakes that are put in there. There's also this type of rice flour.
So what's the name of your project?
So it's called Dr. Rhee's Kimchi Shop. And it's the first project that comes out of a collaboration that I'm doing with my partner. We call our team Rhee Food Lab. It began because we were cooking a lot in the kitchen, that we kept referring it to our laboratory because we're always trying to improve different types of cooking strategies and learn about the scientific process behind what that cooking method is in order to make the food taste better and also to look better.
So how did it work? It looked like from the site on Kickstarter, which I'll post on the blog, that you raised more money than you asked for.
We did, and that was lovely. That was a real treat. I mean, we didn't expect to, raise so much. I thought that we'd just maybe get right over the amount. The way that Kickstarter works, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but it's all or nothing funding. I think some of the other crowdfunding sites have different types of rules, but this also appealed to me because if we weren't able to raise our minimum requirement funding, then we wouldn't get any of the money. But then there would be no pressure to create a project that then people would, have these types of expectations of the quality of the work, for the final project. If we weren't to get the minimum funding, then we wouldn't be obligated to do the project anymore. I think that crowdfunding, not that Germans wouldn't be interested in funding people's projects, it's just that I don't think they're accustomed to this type of like do-it-yourself funding. I mean, the arts and culture in Germany are 100% funded by the state. It's wonderful, but then at the same time, it's very difficult if you're, let's say, doing a project that's perhaps a little bit outside of the mainstream or something that's a little risky. You wouldn't necessarily get funding for it because everything's coming from this one place.
So tell me, who sent in money to you? Where were these people coming from that actually helped you raise the funds?
I would say 90% of the people who ended up sending me funding were Americans. Mm-hmm. And then I would say probably about 80% of them were already in my circle. Which is not to say that they're all like close friends, but I somehow knew them through different circles that I run with, not necessarily from the art world, but people who were at least interested in cooking, or people that were scientists or activists. Just, really interesting. If I didn't know them personally, then I at least knew their name, or I at least knew the type of work that they were doing.
So you end up getting money from your friends in a way.
I think there's a huge difference. I think that when you release it officially on this type of network, people are able to see exactly what project you're making. I mean, Kickstarter has very specific rules. You have to have a video. You have to have a really strong proposal of what you want to do. And you also have to offer people who will support the project, you have to offer them rewards. And honestly, I think that this is why people get involved. It's not because, I'm not saying that they have to have something in order to be involved, but they want to feel like they're contributing, and they want to feel like they're a part of your project. That's why the platform actually is a great medium to get people involved, even if they're already in your network. I think it's different from sending an email out, anonymously. I mean, it's also this whole aspect of social networking. You get updates. If you sign on and you become a supporter, you get every single update that I would post on the site about what's going on with the project. It's much more intimate, I think, a way of intimate, but at the same time public. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I wonder what you gave them.
If somebody contributed $1, they would get, all the updates to the project, and at the closing reception of the project, we will toast your name in Korean and in German to German beer. But people really like that idea. I mean, and we will videotape it and actually put it on our website. So that's the least, sort of the lowest tier reward. And then the other rewards, went to, for example, we're doing a Rhee Food Lab poster. We're doing, we made our invitation postcards, for example, so people are also able to get that depending on what level, they give. And they'll also be able to get the coveted Rhee Lab kimchi recipe.
Ooh.
And that's for $10 they were able to receive that. Wow. It's a great recipe. It's been passed down through my partner's family. And what we've done is we've just improved it, or at least, made it to our taste.
When are you doing the interactive project? What's the date? If I was in Berlin, what's the date I need to be there?
Well, the pop-up shop is open for 1 week. So it will begin on November 19th and close on the 25th of November. I would say that if you could only come one day, if you want to participate in the actual exchange, because it's an interactive project, we're pretending like we're a shop, but we're not actually selling kimchi. It's actually being bartered. You know, you have to bring something. We're collecting objects. You have to bring something to barter with us. So if you want to participate, then I would recommend to be there on the first day because we have a limited number of portions. Okay. But if you want to come and observe and to participate in the evaluation of the objects submitted, then the best day would be on the 25th, which is the closing reception.
So the interactors, those who want to participate, are to bring something they would like to trade for a jar of kimchi.
But not just any old something.
Right. Tell me what we need to bring.
Well, let me back up and just explain the status that kimchi holds in Korea.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly when it was. I think it may have been in 2004 or 2005, but the Korean government named kimchi a national treasure. And I mean, it's been treated like a national treasure, you know, since it was invented. Before it wasn't spicy. I mean, before the chili pepper was introduced to Korea, it was more of like a water type of kimchi. And now, I mean, what I think Korea is really known for is the spicy version. So anyway, so it's considered this national treasure. And what we were really interested in, and I should say my partner Hanjo Rhee, he's the one who actually taught me how to make kimchi. And it's the recipe that's from his family that we're using. We were really interested in this question of what is a national treasure and who decides what a national treasure is, and how does a national treasure function as a cultural artifact from a particular country? Like, how does this national treasure represent the people? And so we thought, you know, really it would really be an interesting discussion to have in a place like Berlin, because it is having so many questions about its own German identity and what it means to be German, and especially because of all the controversies regarding immigration and integration. And we thought this would be such a fun way to really get people out and to have discussions with each other from different nations. We would like people to choose a cultural artifact from their own home country or their home culture, whatever they'd like to choose, that they would like to bring to represent themselves. And then they could trade that with us. So they give us whatever it is that they choose, and we would give them then this jar of kimchi. We will have all of the cultural artifacts will be displayed on these different shelves that we'll have in the exhibition space with numbers and with the information of the person, you know, who brought the piece, you know, their reasons why they brought the particular piece, which country or which culture it comes from. Right. And then people will be able to fill out a survey about which pieces they think are appropriate for that person, which ones they value more, whatever that means for that person. And the really cool thing about it is that we were able to collaborate with a Caucasian American, I mean, he says he's an American from European descent, potter, a ceramic artist, who actually studied in Korea, and he knows how to make these very antique ongi jars, which is the original container that kimchi was stored in before refrigeration. Mm-hmm. And he has donated to us 2 of these. So his name is Adam Field. And the great thing about this is when people fill out the survey, then, you know, and they participate, then they'll be entered into a raffle. And, you know, then we'll pull out, you know, 2 winners at the end.
Based on the response so far to your project online, do you think you're going to have a great response to your call for exchange?
I think we have right now a lot of people from the science community that are coming. We have a lot of people from the art world. I've been trying to do some outreach into the other, you know, immigrant population.
Well, let's plan to talk again in December and recap what happened with Dr. Rhee's kimchi shop.
Yes, it sounds lovely.